Patrick Walsh joining you as we are recapping week 9 of the high school football season. As we know, the stakes always get much higher, much hotter, much crazier the deeper that we go into the regular season. But then you sprinkle in some trophy games.
Yeah.
Then you sprinkle in some region rivalries. And then you just never know what's going to happen. And boy, from top to bottom, 7A to every single classification, it was wild tonight.
It really was. And I think that whatever thoughts you had about teams going into games, and maybe that you think a team is a little bit better than another team, at this point of the season, teams can turn on a dime. And teams can shift the narratives.
No question.
Whether it's historical narratives or even this season narratives.
Right.
And we saw it all across the board.
We really did, guys. If you're just tuning in, this is fifth quarter extra. We are going to recap week 9 of the high school football season. Be sure to join into the conversation, guys. Welcome into our guy, Keith Turner. Guys, be sure to comment. We have several games, nearly 20 games worth of highlights from Thursday night action, Friday night action, about everybody in region play, some clinching up the postseason, dramatic games, not just top 10 games, top 2 games. We'll have that and much more. Actually, without further ado, how about our game of the week out at Ladd Stadium? Extra security, a little bit of extra everything, extra juice as well.
Extra huge juice between these two teams because, like we talked about, not only just the top 2 teams in the state, but also they've been dominating their opponents. And, of course, the winner, just like we saw 2 weeks ago, the winner of this game will get to host the semifinal game or quarterfinal game if they were to meet sometime in the postseason. The fireworks started early in this one. This is one of the top prospects in the entire country. Jalen Scott opens this thing up with a bang. I talked to Marcus Cook right before the game, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. He says, people don't really respect how much we can score on special teams, whether it's blocked punts and there with a kickoff
all 3 phases.
Return for a touchdown. Huge one there. And another big touchdown, a big play here from Viger. And both defenses were really, really good in this one. That was Isaac McNeil with a touchdown, then 2 huge defensive plays here, one for the Lions and then one on the other end for Viger as well. Punt returns, kickoff returns, they all were big in this one. We actually got a chance to catch this one all the way into the fourth quarter and then going into the extra session. That interception right there kept it a 7-6 game. It was 7-6, Williamson with the lead at halftime. But then some huge plays in the third quarter, some big ones in the fourth quarter as well. We were tied at 14 going into overtime, and then Coach Antonio Coleman and company get it done.
Unbelievable, because it's hard to come back in big games like this. It's hard to come back in high school football. I mean, with high school football, when you're down, you guys start to get in their feelings, things like that. Not Antonio Coleman coached teams. This guy has grit. He coaches grit, hard work. Didn't shock me to see Williamson come back and win this game. But it really could have been anybody's ball game. But second-ranked Williamson gets the big dub over Viger. Let's take a listen to head coach Antonio Coleman, the former Auburn football great, coaching the Lions.
You know, it just let me know that it was going to be a ball game. I mean, they got athletes just like we got athletes. They got coaches, we got coaches. You know, who's going to outwork the other, who's going to outlast the other. And I remember when the clock ran off, my kids said, Coach, we're built for this. We did this summer, Coach. We're built for this. We're about to win the ball game.
Says we're built for this.
Yeah.
We're built for this.
Yeah.
We were here. We were meant to be in this ball game going into that overtime period. Listen, that's when you coach guys tough. When you love them tough, that's what they do, and man, they get it done.
One of the things, and this was our game of the week, so I was out there early on and got a chance to talk to him about 5:30.
Yeah.
It was one of the calmest faces, voices,
That's how he is, man.
The demeanors going into the game.
Yep.
And it was funny, Simone, because you and I and everybody that we talked to at the game.
Yep.
It's number 1 versus number 2. It's the big matchup. We were talking about the extra security. We were talking about the hype and everything. And Coach said, we don't treat it like any other game.
Yeah.
He said we treat it the exact same way as we treat week 1, the exact same way we treat Alberta and what they did with UMS right last week. They did not create this big narrative in their heads, and they very easily could have. You want to know why? The last 3 times they've played, they scored a total. Williamson scored a total of 2 points. They scored 2 points last year in a 19-2 loss. Shutout the year before that. Shutout the year before that.
Too.
So Viger came in on a 5-game winning streak, 6-game winning streak. They obviously dominate the series. So there was every reason to hype this game up mentally.
No question.
They did not. They kept calm, they kept steady, and they won.
And that right there, you can feel throughout your entire roster. When it's coached like that, guys can feel it. And it seems same side on the same way on the other side.
Sure.
Ronaldo Jackson, he's coached in big games.
Yeah.
He knows what it takes to get it done. What a treat for people at Ladd Stadium tonight. I know you said it was a jam-packed crowd.
Yeah.
So what an incredible atmosphere for high school football. You live for that. You live for those moments to go into overtime against your rival and to get it done. And guys, it was not the only rivalry game that we saw, because out in Sims tonight, the Battle of West Mobile, a trophy game as MGM and Baker went head-to-head in this one. Zach Golson, of course, has taken MGM to 2 straight Region 1 championships. Eric Scott in his first year as the head coach, and Baker was knocking on the door last year to winning the region. They fell short, and MGM has been a new age MGM under Zach Golson. 2 straight region titles. Tate Graham says, watch this, and Katoria Marion says, I broke out my yellow gloves, and I am balling tonight. And he was. This guy has been our Zaxby's Player of the Week before. We've honored him several times. He was incredible tonight, and it was a thriller out in Sims. Back come the Vikings, G. Our guy getting it done.
Yeah, this is a huge player here for the Baker. And we talked about this going into the season, how that Eric Scott was going to lean on the offense. And as crazy as it was, Eric Scott was the defensive coordinator, but they graduated so many guys. The offense had to really take the mold. And think about this, Simone. We've talked all season long about Speedy Wheeler. And now it was kind of the Katoria Marion show.
They're opening it up.
And it shows you how good Tate Graham is and how much they trust him.
There's no doubt. Let's rewind the beginning of the beginning of the highlight when they got into the touchdowns there, Patrick, if you can. So obviously Katoria Marion puts this team up 7-0 as for the Hornets. And then Shondell Harris comes back, punches his way into the end zone. We're going to get those highlights right back up for you to make it 7-7 all. Here we go. All right, guys. So 7-7 all it was. Shondell Harris to tie the game after he punched it into the end zone. But Katoria Marion comes right back. His second touchdown on the night. You see it there. That makes it 14-7 Baker at that point. MGM not going away. What a crowd it was there for them at home. Jeremy Manhennett is going to hit Jakenyon Allen, who hits a little juke move. I don't know which button that is on the PlayStation, but, man, he pulled it off pretty well. Up the sideline he goes, into the end zone, and is 14 all at that point. So this one, back and forth battle. But this connection, Tate Graham, Katoria Marion, once again, doesn't matter if it's up the sideline, across the middle, he gets it done. Number 5, back in for 6, yet again. 23-14 at that point, the Hornets. Shondell Harris, though, man, this guy is a warrior. Into the end zone he goes to punch it right back. It's 23-21 going into halftime. And how about the final score in this one? 43-28 as Baker upsets third-ranked MGM. We have 2 ranked 7A teams in Region 1. Gerhard, you pointed this out earlier to me. Both of them lost tonight. We'll get to the other game in just a second. But MGM takes a loss in region play to Baker. And I'm telling you, there's going to be some 3-way trying to figure out what to do, because Daphne won. Fairhope beat Daphne. I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't want to be in the war room.
Right.
Because when you're in the war room and you go down in these last 2 weeks, you're trying to figure out what's going on, things get hairy, things get wild.
And this might come down to tiebreakers at the very end. So you'll start to look at the games they played in non-region action, because you're so right. We have talked about, and it kind of sounds like when coaches just say one game at a time, one play at a time. It sounds like coach speak when we say how competitive Class 7A Region 1 is. This is a perfect example. The number 3 team in the state goes down. Another top 10 team in the state goes down. And even those teams that pulled off the upsets tonight, they have beaten one another. They've also had upsets. The other teams upset them as well. So this has been a really fun region to watch.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, 5th Quarter Extra, appreciate all the love here on Facebook. Be sure to join the conversation. Thanks so much for all the shout-outs. Daniel Harper joined us from Rainbow City. Daniel Harper, what's up? Back to you, my guy. Alexandra, appreciate it. Baker versus MGM, quite the game, no doubt. We had a chance to hear from Eric Scott after the game. Let's take a listen to that, Patrick.
It was monumental for us. Definitely. All week we were preparing for this. We believe when no one else believed, and I told my kids that all week, that it was going to be a war, and we knew it was going to be a 4-quarter war, and it was, and it never ceases to be a great game and a great atmosphere for high school football.
And it was that, and what an opportunity there. Derek Scott getting it done. And listen, when it comes to games like this, and you're a first-year head coach, we know Eric Scott, his brother's Derek Scott over at Foley. We know that Eric Scott has been battle-tested. He's been in big games before. But when you are coaching the second biggest high school in the state of Alabama, a team that has probably underperformed for a long time, given the fact that they've had talent who's on the come-up, and you want to continue the success, take it to another level, this is exactly the way that you do it. Good, seriously, good on Eric Scott to go say, I'm going to go fill this role as head coach. I earned this opportunity. Juan Johnson goes and takes an opportunity that's better for his family there. James Clemens, after one season, puts the program in a great position, and Eric Scott says, let's take it to another level. He's sitting here contending for a region title. And, I mean, hats off to him, man.
Nick Saban says this all the time about how a lot of times when you find success, the natural human position is to be complacent. Well, last year, Baker made history. They won their first playoff game in 40 years. Their head coach goes, and they could just come into the season walking in thinking that they're going to just automatically go to the playoffs again. No, they had to put in work, and Eric Scott said that. And like you said, the leadership starts up top, and they have the players to get it done. The offensive line, and then especially the guys on the outside, all led by quarterback Tate Graham.
It's true. If you're just tuned in, fifth quarter extra, guys. Patrick Gerhard Simone joining you. We've recapped our two biggest games of the night. Our game of the week, Viger Williamson, number 1 versus number 2 in the state. Williamson gets done in overtime. What a win for the Lions. Then you just saw that the Battle of West Mobile. Baker gets the best of MGM in Sims tonight as Baker. MGM, I gotta go look at the tiebreaker. It's gonna be wild.
It's going to be
We'll try to
insane.
figure out that math in a little bit. If anybody has any insight, I know there's a lot of football left to be played, at least a couple weeks in the regular season, but it's gonna come down to the last couple weeks as it often does.
And the crazy thing is that that's one of the weird regions where all 4 teams that are in the playoffs are already clinched their spot. All 4 teams that are not in the playoff are already eliminated. So there's no team that's already eliminated that can be one of those 4. So it's going to be one of those 4 teams. MGM, Daphne, Fairhope, Baker. We're now finding out seeding and how.
And honestly, without further ado, let's just go to Daphne at Fairhope, because quite frankly, like I mentioned, 2 teams came into tonight in Class 7A Region 1, ranked in the top 10. Both went down with a loss. Don't ever count out Tim Carter in October.
Exactly. They lost that first game of the season in the California Dreaming Bowl to Spanish Fort on a rainy day. And you might have thought, oh, this team might go down a little bit. They have not. But this game started off with Coach Kenny King and the offense getting off to a really nice start. Christian Seeger, one of our Zaxby's Player of the Week winners earlier this season, finds his good friend Jason Miles for the touchdown, but not to be outdone. A huge offensive play here and a great response from Trey Gardner to Fisher Southall, one of our 22nd State Bank Player of the Week nominees. This one ties the game up at 7 at Volanta Park. Going to the second quarter now. Gardner, this is the pocket presence that you want as a quarterback. You know Tim Carter's going to watch this and love it. Nowhere to throw downfield, doesn't force it into the teeth of the Trojan defense. Takes it himself, jumps to the pylon, and he's athletic enough to get into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. 14-7 Pirates. Later, it's Sager once again. This time
he's so good on the move.
Yeah,
he's so good on the move.
Yeah, he is. A.J. Blakeney on the other end in the corner for the touchdown. We're all knotted up 14 late in the first half, and then Fairhope responds once again. Garner, Southall. It sounds like Mahomes and Kelsey. And it sounds like Brady
really
and
does.
Moss. It's like any top-tier combination you want. That's them right now. They get it done. 38-21. Like you said, the top two teams as far as rankings go. As far as ranking goes, these 2 teams have been ranked. Fairhope's been out of the state rankings. They've had a good season. MGM obviously has been in. Daphne has been in. But hat tip today for both Baker and Fairhope getting a win. Final score 38-21, and Fairhope, once again, they continue to roll.
So if you're looking at the region standings in this, let's break it down just for a minute right now. MGM is going to take their first loss. So they have 1 loss. They could have, been in real control of this region.
Correct.
Not that they're not in the mix, but they have 1 loss. Now they fall to 5-1. Daphne's going to fall to 4-2 after that loss. Fairhope goes to 5-1 on the year. Of course, MGM is going to have control because they have the head-to-head battle in that. Baker is now 5-1, and they're going to have the win over MGM. Did Baker and Fairhope play?
I don't think Baker and Fairhope played yet. I don't. Let me double check. I think that's one of the games still left.
Okay.
That is next week. That is next week.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. So a lot on the line in that game, and then we'll see what it looks like going into week 11, of course, the last 2 weeks of the region.
And keep in mind, just at the end of the season, if Baker, wins next week, you start to look at your non-region games. Well, one of those non-region games is Viger. for Baker. So if Baker can beat Viger, they would get all those points. Still a lot of football left to be played.
A lot of football left to be played, but still, this is the math. Listen,
it
if
is
you don't
really
think this is what the conversations are happening for coaches right now in locker rooms trying to figure out if they're going to have either a region championship, home field advantage, or they're going up to Birmingham or Auburn or wherever they have matched up this year. Might be all the way to Huntsville, might be in Tennessee at this point. But yeah, this is when they start the math starts math and you figure out where to go.
Yep, and Baker, keep in mind, opening game of the season beat Theodore. And that win is looking more and more impressive every week.
Theodore undefeated right now. Without further ado, let's go over to Theodore.
Yep.
Bobcats welcoming in Gulf Shores tonight. And this was a wild game last year. Went down to the wire, the crazy pitch and catch. But two teams who were left out of the playoffs. And Theodore right now with complete control in 6A Region 1.
That's right. They still have a 0 in the loss column in the region games. They played a really tough schedule. So they're non-region games. We mentioned that game that they just lost. However, this is a huge play here. One of our 22nd State Bank Player of the Week nominees, Kendrick Abel, their bell cow, their leading rusher. He gets in and
forward progress.
And Patrick, if you can replay it, that would be great. If not, that's fine. But you know, when coaches talk about all the offseason work and the
weight room,
what you need to do in the weight room and why you need to get it done, and they say it's for these kinds of moments when you continue to push your feet.
I love it.
And you continue to make it happen. And the referees, I'm glad they didn't blow the whistle. His forward progress was not stopped.
It wasn't.
And he got it into the end zone for the touchdown. This was not a high-scoring game, so points were at a premium. That was a big one there for Steve Mask and company. And then later on, they go to the air. Christian Overton hitting DeMarcus Beckham. DeMarcus Beckham had a great kickoff return for a touchdown against St. Paul's in a great game there that Theodore lost. This is a great game here for Beckham. Theodore wins this football game as they go on to win. They won the St. Paul's game. 2014, the final score in this one as Theodore remains undefeated in region play.
And as I'm going to go over to St. Paul's now, and I want you to pull up the 6A Region 1 standings when I do, because once again, the math is going to start mathing. You're trying to figure out what's going on. McGill-Tulane on the road against St. Paul's, and no fear in this one. How about Ladarian Miller dives into the end zone to take a 7-0 lead. Mac T on the road. Okay, back with the ball here. The Yellow Jackets are, and looking deep, this pass is going to get picked off. So a little bit of defense for Ham Barnett. We know he's a defensive guy up against his alma mater. And this is the first highlight. This is the first time we've seen this highlight. St. Paul's in good field position, so he didn't take all the way back, but they would only get 3 on that drive. Not able to capitalize there in the red zone. A little bit later, Blaine Beret, no problem for the high snap. He collects it and is gone up the sideline into the end zone. He says, give me 7. It's 14-3. McGill on the road. Later, St. Paul's going to draw a little something up on offense. Quick pass goes to Parker Davis. He shakes the guy loose. Gets into the end zone. It's 14-10 McGill-Tulane at this point. But Ladarian Miller just goes to work on the ground. The guy, I've seen people like rip this guy's jersey off, and he will not stop running. He just keeps his head down, ground and pound. He did that once again. And in for his second rushing touchdown of the night. PAT was no good. How about this? Final score, 41-17. McGill-Tulane beats St. Paul's. When that was actually said by our producers, there's like 15 people working on the show.
Right.
And someone always like yells the final score just so we all hear it and like consume it like a sponge in the in the newsroom and sports office. And they said, Yellow Jackets, McGill-Tulane beats St. Paul's. And I'm like, 41-17. I'm like, y'all check that. Did I not say
no
that?
way.
I said that. I did not say that. Patrick, I said, you guys check that. Because there's got to be a typo.
Right.
And like 3 people confirmed. Simone, it's not. And it's not disrespect to McGill-Tulane.
Yes.
It's saying, wow. Like, I did not think that is what this was going to look like. And I mean, hat tip to what it is that Coach Falk and company are able to do with the Yellow Jacket program right now.
Yeah, we talked about Ladarian Miller. We talked about Blaine Beret. You saw them there in those highlights.
Yeah.
They run a really high-pace, high-up-tempo kind of offense. And Coach, in my opinion, Coach Faulkner, he's been building this program for a while. And I think from an offensive standpoint, the deeper they've gone into the season, we saw this last year as well, the more comfortable they get.
Yeah.
And this might just be the fruits of that labor and the way that it manifests in being able to pour it on a really good defense.
You're right. And I think that, honestly, teams that are going to make that push, it's not to say that you don't want to have a full body of work, you want to have success early in the season. But when you're able to withstand, especially things in 6A Region 1, when it's hard regardless, top to bottom, those teams are just tough. When you're able to hang in there, man, that's a good sign for sure.
Yep.
Let's head to the beach and check in with Orange Beach and Mobile Christian. These two teams, last year, there was some drama in this region as we were trying to figure out who was going to be in Orange Beach was the 5 seed. They were out. And early on, it's Jason Todd Deuce there for the Leopards, in for the touchdown. And Mobile Christian takes a 7-0 lead. Shout out for the News 5 weather commercial.
I saw that. Yeah, that was
How
great.
about that? You know what? YOLO. Love it. Still in the second quarter, interception is going to be thrown here. Lee Steele runs it back. Great field position. And Orange Beach is going to, naturally, they're going to capitalize. Here's Xavier Harris on the QB keeper, in for the touchdown. And then near the second quarter here, how about this guy? Jason Todd Jr. going to hand it off to Samaj Lal. This guy has been so good. We say his name so often. The Leopards get the victory in this game, 32-17. So certainly a big region advantage there for Mobile Christian.
I think it's really big when Charles Lawson took over this program, and he knew that he was having to rebuild in a very tough region because they were in 3A. Of course, with their competitive balance, they bumped up to 4A, and they're in the toughest region. They're in there with the state champion in Jackson.
Yep.
They're in there with St. Michael, the new #1 team. But they continue to fight. And last year, they got into the playoffs. You mentioned the drama last year.
Yes.
Orange Beach thought they were in the playoffs going into about week 7, week 8, week 9. Turns out they weren't because it was a 3-way tie for those final 2 spots. They were the odd team left out there. So it is really interesting to see how these teams have moved along throughout the course of the season. But playmakers everywhere for both teams there in that matchup, and a nice win there.
Yeah, if you're just tuned in, Fifth Quarter Extra, thanks so much for checking us out tonight, guys. Week 9 of the high school football season. Plenty of action to get to. We had nearly 20 games worth of highlights. Our crews were all across the Gulf Coast tonight getting the action from week 9 of the season. Let's head over to Bayside Academy, G, where the Admirals, man, they have not had any let up this season.
This is a team that I think a lot of people kind of forgot about after last year. Then they put everybody on notice last season with a playoff run. And Coach Barrett Trotter and company, that kept that going this year. They have steadily moved up in the polls, getting more and more respect from the pollsters. Number 6 in the polls this week. And then to start off this game against XL, William Kincaid Lions. Opening touchdown on the kickoff. And just like that, the fireworks go off for the Admirals, both figuratively and literally. The next play here, later in the first quarter, a nice play. This is Brennan Yaman who runs it in to the end zone, diving in for a touchdown. And just like that, Bayside up 14-0. And then they would get, I know, they would get another little big touchdown here from Marcus Miller there on the backside. And tell you what, this Admiral team, they just continue to fight. They continue to fight. And Coach Barrett Trotter and company, they're doing a really good job over there.
Davis Barnett.
And Davis Barnett, the quarterback, picking up the offense really well. They've had Billy Neal and a bunch of other guys that have been really solid for this football team, and they continue to make a push in a very tough Class 3A Region 1.
Yeah, let's move over to 5A now. Alberta over at UMS Wright, G. Pull up those region standings. So I do want to see what this one shakes loose when we're beyond Viger and Williamson, who are obviously the top 2 in the state and also in that region. Max Fowler has been solid. I feel like we've been saying his name for 17 years. It's like a 7-year senior. Much love to Max Fowler. In for the touchdown. It's 6-0 after the missed 2-point conversion. Great crowd on hand, no question about that. Alberta gets looking to answer. Seamus Owen with a direct snap. He launches it to Connor Frank, a huge reception. However, they would get intercepted a couple plays later on that drive. TC in the hizzy for the 05 state championship team celebration there. He had 8 of those, by the way, in the Bulldogs jersey. Count them, 8 rings. That's the one for almost every single finger. Meanwhile, back into the end zone, the Bulldogs would go a little bit later in this game. And so, listen, they get it done. UMS does. The final score, 34-6. Over Alberta. Gee, what do those 5A Region 1 standings look like right now?
It is kind of wonky here because
no surprise. That and every other region.
All right, so as you mentioned at the very top is going to be Williamson right now at 6-0, Viger at 5-1, and that will be the 1 and 2. UMS Wright with the win, they now move to 4-2. LaFleur played Citronelle today. The final score of that one, who did Citronelle end up winning that one?
Hold on.
That was a big one.
No, Citronelle won that way. It was like 34-14 or something of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah, they won that game.
Okay, so that one's big because now that improves Citronelle's region record to 3-3 overall, and LaFleur drops to 3-3 in the region.
Say that one more time.
So the win today for Citronelle. Citronelle got the win over LaFleur.
Okay.
Those two, LaFleur going into this matchup was 3-2. Citronelle was 2-3. They're now both 3-3. They're
going to be tied, and Citronelle's going to have
the head-to-head.
And that's for what position?
And that looks like that's going to be the 4 seed. Looks like those two will be battling for that number 4 seed.
Yeah. And listen, two more weeks of the regular
Fifth,
season, but this is crunch time.
Yep.
Outside of coaches turning, teams in and things like that, everything else is just played out on the field.
Yeah.
Not the paperwork. Okay, let's keep things rolling, Patrick. Where are we headed next? Let's head over to Faith Academy. Speaking of BC Reign, Faith Academy in 5A Region 1G.
Yeah, and a couple of teams here playing for pride, so to speak, here in this matchup here with both these two teams. This is Daryl Blackman hitting Jermaine Luton, and he goes all the way in for the touchdown. Red Raiders getting on the board early on, extra point good, so early 7-0 lead. Later, it is Faith football. Theophilus Jackson Jr. would get into the end zone for the touchdown. There you see the extra point tacking it on there for the Red Raiders, and so they continue to look impressive towards the end of the season. And then Faith football here. This is Theophilus Jackson Jr. into the end zone for the touchdown. However, the extra point on this play, no good. So it is 7-6. A guy that we've talked about for a while now for Faith Academy is Eli Quinley. He's a quarterback and he's a running back. Here as a quarterback looking to throw, he hits trying to look for one of his top targets in Kobe Hunt. But this ball intercepted here. A good interception by Jordan Jackson. And it was 23-6 when our crew left this football game. And I don't have a final score here. The final score looks
I think Gracie just texted us. Our girl Gracie. She said 23-6.
Okay,
final
so that was
BC Reign
so
gets
that was
it done.
Yeah, the score that we left it was the final score. So 23-6 there. So BC Reign gets the win. And like I said, those are a pair of teams that are playing for pride at this point of the season right now. But a nice win for a Red Raiders team that's had to deal with a lot of adversity, not having their head coach for a lot of this season. Obviously, we're continuing to pray for Coach Yelding and company.
Always, no doubt about that. All right, let's head over to Citronelle up against LaFleur this evening. Two teams you just mentioned, a minute ago. A lot on the line in this one when it comes to the region standings and what this can look like. Colby Weaver is a guy who has just been so tough for the Wildcats week in and week out. Gets in for the touchdown there for Citronelle at home. Then a little bit later, Jerome Williams is looking to go long but can't complete the pass. And back to Citronelle. The pass this time is going to go to Colby Weaver. He is going to get the huge gain. However, gets brought down eventually. But Citronelle comes away with the win in this one, guys. 24-14, like we mentioned a minute ago. So Citronelle takes advantage of that head-to-head situation for the fourth spot right now in 5A Region 1.
Yeah, so if those two teams end up with the same region record, it will be Citronelle that has the lead there. But I mean, hat tip to Coach Perry, because this is a LaFleur team had not won a lot coming into the season, and now they were vying there for a playoff spot. Didn't get it done today, but year one has been good so far for the Rattlers.
Yeah, let's head to Satsuma now, bringing in Escambia County in 4AG.
Yeah, one of the things that we were talking about with Patrick, who's our producer here, he's like, hey, we had our 3 nominees in for the play of the week, and it was like, what, we'll have to give this one extra special love because it kind of came in late here for the Blue Devils. So Blue Devils starting off early on. This is a really nice play here early for Cleo Bolar, gets into the end zone, and that's an Escambia County touchdown. So a nice play there to start the game for Bolar. And keep that name in mind because he makes a sensational play later. A little bit later on, it is Satsuma looking for a touchdown. They would get it with Evan Bell hitting Andrew Sullivan. Sullivan on that little crossing route, he is gone into the end zone for the touchdown. The Gator cheerleaders are loving this one in the early stages of it. But then the Blue Devils come back with a huge play. Watch here is Cleo Bolar, and this is one of those plays that it's going to be the next play. So we had to cut one play out, so it's going to be the next play. But it's a nice play here from Bolar as well from their running game, being able to dodge and a nice couple of tackles there. And this is the play that if we had a fourth play for our Play of the Week nominees, it would have been this one. Cleo Bolar, really nowhere to go. Just dodging Gator defenders everywhere. Keeps this play alive. Keeps it alive, and somehow, some way finds Lamarian Arnold.
It's like backyard ball.
Who goes in the end? Yes, this is Thursday Thanksgiving football with the family.
I played all-time QB, and I was doing that all the time, both teams. I love it, man. I love it.
So shout out to the Blue Devils. We did not miss you. That was probably one of the best plays of the night. Oh, yeah, Phillip Rivers pass. We have
Phillip Rivers.
Oh, yeah, Gunner
Speaking
Rivers
of Phillip Rivers, Phillip Rivers. We didn't even get to Gunner. Did we already get to that game?
Oh, we haven't got to that game yet.
Well, I could watch that one throw about 100 times.
I know.
But
we had a ton of plays.
Yeah, we really did, guys. It was hard to choose. This was Thursday night action. Hey, that's Phillip Rivers. He's on the sidelines, and that's Gunner right there. He's the one that's gunning it down the field. His guy on the other end of it.
Yep.
Brody Jones.
South
Alabama commit.
Yeah, he is.
And that was not his only touchdown reception there. Of course, by the way, St. Michael was hosting Pensacola, obviously out of Florida. in case you didn't know what Panhandle was. And this game was on Thursday evening, played over there in Fairhope. That's Brody Jones once again on the receiving end of that Gunner Rivers touchdown pass. A little high-five action. This right here is not the play that I'm talking about yet, but we're going to get there in a second. We had to cut some. We had so many touchdown passes and so many impressive highlights that we had to start cutting some of these out because we can't air every single thing.
Yeah.
But right here it is. Okay, watch this throw. This is like Patrick Mahomes, but even better. If you watch this from our guy, Larry Scott Rudolph,
I talked to him
on social media.
Yeah.
It is like he is playing like an umpire. It is like he is throwing a slider right down the center of the plate. And it's beautiful.
Nice baseball reference.
Here I am,
I saw him tonight at Ladd Stadium. He was covering the Williamson game.
It was that good.
I told him, hey, that was the best shot. And a lot of times he
sometimes
has to just
be
be
like
the right.
It's sometimes to just be better than lucky to be good.
Got to be in the right spot there for it, but he shot it beautifully. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out on social media because it's everywhere.
So good.
It
is so good. It really is sick.
And it shows off his talent.
They won, by the way.
Yeah, and then one big in this one instead of 50-13, the final score there. But huge shout out, and the number one team in the state. Sometimes it messes with teams' head. Not St. Michael. They get it done.
No, man. And listen, if you think a guy who's like on the doorstep of the NFL Hall of Fame is going to get messed with when it comes to big games at the high school level, like here's the deal. What's funny is that it doesn't mess with his psyche, but he's still as competitive as he was in the NFL. Obviously Phillip Rivers. And it's been handed down to his son, who is just very stoic in big game moments. Very, very impressive for the young gun.
Yeah, he is. And you see those traits and those qualities coming out. And the thing about Phillip Rivers that you saw is that he had all the love and respect of all of his past receivers, the guys that receive his passes, whether it's tight ends and or wideouts.
Yep.
And you're seeing that same chemistry with his son and Gunner Rivers, and whether it's Tucker Tomlinson or as we saw Noah Brady and Noah, just they're firing on all cylinders right now, looking like the best team in the state.
No doubt, definitely are that. All right, 6A action. Murphy over at Saraland on Thursday night.
Yeah, I think a lot of people going into this one understood that, hey, Saraland, top 2 team in the state. Murphy struggling a bit this year. And so for both teams, I think it was, hey, let's get out there and let's go and compete, keep everybody healthy. Saraland does just that. 2 touchdown passes from Jamison Roberts to Cy Bird. One on one side on the right-hand side, our right-hand side, then other one on the left-hand side, and get into the end zone for a touchdown. This touchdown pass is to L.J. Nobles, an early 20-0 lead. And then, once again, it is Deshaun Spencer in the end zone for a touchdown. This is one of the plays that we had to cut out. Big defensive play here. No disrespect to the defense. We love the defense. Sure. We love them. But sometimes they have to, a couple plays out for time purposes because we have hard outs here. But this is Deshaun Spencer on the touchdown, making the most of that interception. The interception by Derek Durgan, by the way. Shout out to my man, Derek Durgan, with the pick that turns into points. Saraland wins 55-0.
All right, in 7A action on Thursday, Davidson homecoming and welcoming in fully 2 teams who are on the outside looking in as far as the playoff. But listen, any sort of win late in the season can help you into the offseason. Micah Spivey connecting on the touchdown pass here. A little back and forth early on, but Davidson is going to get the big dub over fully 25-7. And listen, win a homecoming game, and that's always a big deal. Over at Alma Bryant, the Canes welcoming into Robertsdale, and a tough battle that one on Thursday night.
Yeah, it was a really tough battle by a team in Robertsdale that's been growing really all season long, but it's Alma Bryant who got off to a really quick start early in this one. 4th and goal, a little trickery here. Our buddy Makai V, that's what we lovingly call him over here, hits Cameron Johnson for the score. This was an 8-minute drive, an 8-0 lead. Hey, listen.
Do they let them do that? I mean, and here's the deal. Like, that's my, I mean, I cheer for the Canes. But I'm like,
it didn't used to be that way.
Like, what's his coach doing? Tell him to make. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I mean, I'm just kidding, young man. I swear there was times they would throw flags so fast for that sort of thing. Like, this is like it's like I don't even know how that was. It's great. Leprechaun guy, he's like, what is happening? That's like, I mean, guys like pulling out chains and stuff. Like, I mean, that was great. I mean, let them have. All I'm saying is, I'm fine with the celebration. My point is, be consistent. And these officials, if you like literally smiled, they were going to throw a flag on you. You couldn't even breathe.
I'm seeing less and less penalties thrown on the celebrations.
Maybe they just quit, but they're worried about kneecaps.
Quite honestly, I kind of like let the kids celebrate.
I agree with you. And let the kneecaps do their thing.
I'm all for Cameron Johnson. Let the kneecaps do their thing,
Robertsdale won, by the way, in double overtime.
And
I think it was a historic win for Robertsdale at that.
Yeah, no
It might have
question.
been. I think it was maybe the team's only region win in a minute.
It's been it's been a long time, and I know I think this is their 4th win. I don't think they've had 4 wins in the last half decade.
That's a
at
huge
least.
deal.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a huge deal. And I literally almost just said that they were going to be bowl eligible. That's where my brain at. Two wins away from bowl eligibility for Robert Still.
Their win
Pretty
totals.
good place to be.
Their win totals over the last few years. Last year 2, the year before 0, 0, 3. You have to go back to 2020 when they won 4 games. So Justin Jones in his first season doing a really good job here. 4-5 right now. They're 1-5, as you mentioned. That's their first region win. 1-5 now in the region, but they're trending in the right direction right now under the first-year head coach.
No doubt. Gonna pull up some scores from tonight. Let's see here. Our girl Gracie hooking us up with all of the finals from tonight. Let's take a look at these. And of course, if we went back to the very, very top of this one from our game of the week. We can kind of split these. I'll go first. Williamson gets the dub over Viger, 22-14 in our game of the week. Baker beats MGM 43-28, a massive win for the Hornets. Cannot overstate that enough there. Fairhope beats Daphne, and Daphne has been really, really good. In Fairhope, we weren't really sure. It's been like a prove it time, but man, Tim Carter has got those guys really balling out, and some of the things they're doing in the past game is really, really impressive. But 38-21 in that one.
Yeah, not to be self-serving, but we do picks for our friend Ben Thomas. Mine will be obliterated because I picked both teams that are ranked to win the football game.
I don't even know who I picked.
And they did not.
Did Gadsden City win?
I don't know. I hadn't seen the state scores yet from our buddy Ron Ingram. Outgoing Ron Ingram. If this video finds you, congratulations on a great career there.
Best of luck, friend. Enjoy it. Enjoy not dealing with us. I had MGM.
And you had Baker? Oh, sorry.
I had Williamson.
Did you have Daphne?
I had Daphne.
Yeah, we're the same. All right.
I had Theodore.
Ben right now is.
I had McGill Tulin.
Did you really have McGill Tulin?
I forgot I did. And then I had Southside Gadsden beating Gadsden City 41-10. What was the final?
You know what? I just saw Ron's email from the state.
What was the final?
Let me see what.
Pull it up.
Let me see what the.
Come on, Southside.
Let me pull this up from Class 7A or 6A. I don't.
You're not wrong.
I didn't see it yet.
They have not reported it.
They have not reported it to the state of Alabama.
Gadsden City was a home. They're the reporting team.
Gadsden City was a home. Yeah.
Sounds like a Titans loss. Let me look it up. I'm gonna be on like a bulletin board. I already am probably over there.
Class 6A.
Keep rolling out while I find that final.
McGill Tulin St. Paul's. McGill 41-17, a dominating win there. Mobile Christian over Orange Beach 32-17. Bayside Academy, the number 6 team in Class 3A, win over XL 35-7. Citronelle over LaFleur, an important game in the region standings there in 5A Region 1, 24-14. Theodore remains undefeated in region play, 24-14 over Gulf Shores. BC Rain Faith Academy, BC Rain won that game 23-6. Escambia County, thanks to Cleo Bolar and a lot of other players, huge game today. A big win over Satsuma on the road, 49-14. UMS Wright over Alberta, 34-6. Flomaton over Hillcrest Evergreen, 19-6. Baldwin County over Blunt, 24-20. Jackson beating WS Neal, 30-7. Leroy all over Fruitdale, 56-0. Southern Choctaw got a win over Millry, 26-14. Clark County, the Bulldogs beating St. Luke's, 36-14. McIntosh over JF Shields, 62-0. Still looking for a final for JU Blackshear Central Haneyville. Get that as soon as you possibly can.
I think we actually did just get that text from Gracie here a moment ago. Let me look here. JU Blackshear gets the win, 47-12.
And then Sweetwater Marengo was the other one that was I didn't get it updated on here.
Gadsden City won 42-7.
City won 42-7. Okay, wow.
Oh, wow. I just want to update that.
Wow, that was huge.
I did not get that one right.
Sitting right there in that seat earlier this week was Shadarius Tootle, the newest Auburn commit, flipped from Auburn to Georgia, back to Auburn over the course of the last few months. Well, he and the Cottage Hill Warriors got a win over Monroe County, 20-0. Jackson Academy over Crenshaw, 28-23, and Thomasville got a nice win over Dallas County, 51-6.
Well, there you go. Week 9 of the high school football season in the books, and there's 2 weeks left, which is absolutely insane, if you can believe it. This has completely flown by. The season will end on Halloween, so there could be some spooky stuff.
Spooky.
It always gets a little spooky come week 11 of the season. So people start making calls to the state. People start calling in some favors. People start asking for some extra film. Start moving games to Thursdays. You never know what's going to happen in the last couple of weeks, man.
It gets a little eerie.
You got to get some leverage.
And once every, I think it's like 6, 7, 8 years, the calendar falls to where Halloween falls on a Friday night. And so expect games between two teams
I think it's
that
7
are.
years.
But how
Is it not?
how does it
I
go for
shouldn't even
leap
say that because I
years?
really don't even know.
Because
I
think leap years will throw it off at least one day.
Patrick, do you know these things,
every,
Patrick? Don't you know moons and stuff?
every
Leap
four-
year. Yes,
Yeah.
I know the moon. Waxing, waning, gibbous.
Waxing, waning, gibbous,
Ooh,
baby.
I don't get paid enough for this job.
For the uninitiated, that was about a month ago. We had a full moon that was about 95%, so I couldn't call it a full moon because I get called out on here. But no.
Someone somewhere would have called you out for that.
Oh, no question.
That, saying a kid's name wrong, you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly. So, no. But, yes, you're right. 2 weeks left in the regular season. Williamson, congratulations to them, crowning the region champions. So they are the region champions no matter what happens over the course of the next 2 weeks. Looks like Viger will be the number 2. However, if they do lose, there's some things going to be interesting there. I don't really think that they will, but we'll see. And then in Class 7A, the 4 teams are in. But as of right now, they can go in any direction. Our math teacher would be mad at me for saying this, but there's a way for all 4 teams to be in all 4 spots.
Is that like compound interest?
A little, but
In some sort of way. There's something.
some math nerd out, some math guy out there, not a nerd, not some math person out there.
What's that theorem? But
Pythagorean theorem?
Pythagorean.
A squared plus
We learned
B
that in high
squared equals
school.
C squared.
you know what? And that is going to explain how the region falls.
Exactly. That's all we need. That's all we
Listen,
need.
I have a degree, and I mean, it's all that matters. It doesn't mean that I sat here and I conquered Algebra 2.
Oh, neither did I.
struggled.
Neither did I.
At least we're honest. How did you do in Algebra 2, Patrick?
Oh, I aced that.
Okay, that's a lie.
What do you mean that was a lie?
'cause your
See,
mom-
I
it's 'cause
didn't,
your
I
mom
didn't
was
get a
doing
final
your
score.
homework. Your
I
mom
didn't
was
get
doing your homework.
I didn't get a final grade in the class because that was the COVID year, so it was either pass or fail.
I'm sorry. That's when they start.
Oh.
And now
That's
you know
how
what?
he aced it.
They said, here you go.
Whoa.
They said, here, just
no,
take
no,
this
no.
diploma and get out of our building before someone comes in
No,
and
no,
gets us
no.
all in trouble.
Somebody in the chat put
That's
a
unbelievable.
problem on there for him to.
I will solve
for him
it.
For him to solve.
Patrick got a P or an F for his entire senior year, and that there.
Do
is
not
just,
listen
that
to
there
her.
has just explained-
Do not listen to her.
And we have learned so much in the last 4 seconds about you, and we just love you for it.
I am a goat, greatest of all time at math. That's why I'm here and
That's
not
why he's in
still
journalism.
school.
And that's why he became a journalism major. That's what we do. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Appreciate the comments. Fifth Quarter rocks. Keith, our guy.
Yeah.
Demetria, I love Fifth Quarter. We love y'all too. Seriously, appreciate it so much. Jody, Sweetwater gets the victory, 34-6. It's so much fun. Coach Vic, good to hear from you. Daphne, man, struggle for the Trojans there on the war on the shore. Brandon Cotton's feeling good about life there in T-Town, is what he refers to as Theodore. Listen, I would say that's a stretch, but right now they're actually playing well.
Oh yeah, they're playing very well. And hey, next week if you're in T-Town, there's a
Get ready to get left.
There's a great one in T-Town, and then there's a amazing one in T-Town because Theodore and Saraland next week.
I really thought you were talking about Bama again. I literally thought you had transitioned to college football. I was like, what?
Not yet.
What games are you talking about? We're gonna have a good week of college football games as well. A big one over there in Athens. That'll be fun. Obviously, Alabama, Auburn, everybody just trying to get Alabama trying to stay there in the playoff contention. Auburn, looking to see what they can do.
Tried to go bowling. Actually, not even bowling. Their aspirations can't be bowling. Their aspirations is to win one SEC game.
Dang, dog. It's a quarter to midnight. I gotta get so
they
serious.
still-
I
just
saw
being
a
honest.
stat that was kind of sad.
What's
the
that?
seniors at Auburn have seen 4 home wins.
Wow.
Yeah.
They have a chance to make it 5 tomorrow.
That's some optimism if I've ever heard it.
They have a chance.
How's West
Hey,
Virginia doing?
Oh, brother.
Guys, listen, before things get any more
That's
wild
bad.
here on Fifth Quarter Extra,
Third
we're going to
Saturday.
sign off. What? Third Saturday in October. I couldn't even remember what game it was.
Yeah.
There you
Well,
go.
I wanted to ask you though. Predictions?
At Bama.
You like Bama?
Josh Heupel, on the road games has struggled.
He has. Yeah, he has. I like Bama too. Bama's about a.
Bama's going to sell
Tennessee.
out R&R Cigar again, and he's not going to get right.
As much as I want to, ride the Joey Aguilar hype train, they've proven to me the last 2 games that they are fraudulent.
Ooh.
And maybe-
Speaking of frauds,
Bama-
how about Miami?
Oh, Miami goes
Oh,
down tonight.
Carson back.
Miami goes
4
down tonight.
interceptions.
I have been sitting.
That's crazy.
I've been sitting in this chair and saying that Miami
ain't
is
great.
fraudulent football
4 ain't
team.
great.
Louisville wears red, so maybe he went back to his Georgia days and thought,
you know
just
what?
throw the guys in red. But he didn't even do that at Georgia. He threw it to the wrong guys every time. I mean,
listen, man. Sometimes there's confusion there. Complacency. It's gonna kill you. It's gonna kill you. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to week 9 of Fifth Quarter Extra. We're gonna sign off before we get any more crazy here. Enjoy your weekend. Go to Fall Festival or something. Pumpkin Patch. I'm going to the Pumpkin Patch. Patrick's going to the Pumpkin Patch. We're trying to convince Gerhard to go to the Pumpkin Patch.
We'll see you next week.
He needs a girl to take him to the Pumpkin Patch.
Do it.
We are taking resumes. SELI@WKRG.com.
Be sure to bring an iPad so we can watch some college football together, though.
Get right or get left. All right, guys. Have a good night. Shout out to Gracie. Shout out to all the team here at WKRG. Always getting it done for us every Friday night to bring you the best Gulf Coast high school football coverage here in the state. Guys, have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.